Hello. Now, usually this is my first podcast face to face.
Oh, really?
For a funny taste in music, because it's started in the pandemic, so it's always been done from home, and that seems a good way to do it. And I've realised now why, because I drove here. As you know, we're in Tunbridge Wells for a gig, and a 1 hour 40 drive just took me 3 hours. So this is why Zoom is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, you could do it from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah. So, and I thought this would be good to do this one, because we're meeting up and we're about to do a gig together. So I thought this would be good. We could do the podcast with you before the gig. We've never met.
No.
Don't know anything about. I know you're a really good comedian. I know that already.
Oh, thank you.
Heard it. So I thought this would be a different one. We've never met.
Yeah.
And when you meet people, often you sort of try and squeeze out of them what music they like. That's it's a little shorthand.
So when you meet people for the first time, how long is it before you start getting into the music thing?
I need to know that before their name.
Oh, right. Okay. Do you like Oasis?
Need to get that, Then,
if not, we can't be friends.
If they don't like Oasis, their name is unimportant.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I won't need to remember
Irrelevant.
it. So I thought this would be a good way to do it. This would be
Perfect.
This is how when you meet people, it's a good way to find stuff out. Yeah. I don't even know how many years you've been on the earth.
Oh, right.
So this place is what kind of music you might like.
Yeah, well, I've just turned 36.
Right.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I've listened to a few of your episodes.
Yeah.
And your one with Rich Wilson, and he's listing very cool bands. And I was like, oh, God, mine's really...
He does do that. He does do that.
But like,
we need to say that because he's about 4 yards away. He's here. No, don't feel any pressure for that.
No, it's very, very uncool. Like, but you know,
your taste in music is very uncool.
No, just like growing up, I grew up in the time of it was all about girl bands, but Spice Girls, Five, S Club 7, Steps, like all that. Like, I know your face. It's a picture. It
just made me feel sad hearing that as a list.
I'm sorry.
Together, usually keep those separate, don't they?
I know.
Is that the bands you liked though, or was it just that's what it was?
When I was a kid, like. When I was a lot younger, I mean, I must have been about 11 when the Spice Girls' first album came out, and it was just like, oh, this is everything, girl power. Like, this is what I need. So yeah, I had to know whether you find that very uncool. I'm so sorry.
Weirdly, with the Spice Girls I suppose with a lot of bands, when they become massive, you instinctively don't like them. Yeah. If they become massive, because you don't want to be seen to be one going along with everyone else. Yeah. And then slowly I started going, that's quite a good tune though. It pains me to say it. Oh, Viva forever. You've got me with that one. Goodbye, my friend. There's only 4 of them. They're underdogs now. Oh, I did come round to them. I tell you what I think with the Spice Girls, I think that they missed out on because they let like Jerry spoke a lot. She was quite funny. Yeah. Scary was funny. But you know, I think it's very funny that doesn't speak a lot. It's Posh Spice, Victoria. Yeah. When you hear her interviewed, she's weirdly, really funny. She's really funny. They should have let her talk more. I know. They didn't. They just pout, Victoria.
She was too busy pouting and pointing.
Pouting
and pointing. That's it.
If you want someone to pout and give you a northerly direction, she was good for that.
She's on it.
She was a mid-90s north or south.
I loved it.
So first album straight away, bang, that single.
So my first album that I remember buying, like with pocket money, was Take That, Everything Changes.
Right. Yeah.
Don't judge me.
No.
I loved Take That.
Yeah.
I loved Take That. I mean, but I never went to see them like live.
No.
So I never got to witness them in real life.
I have a very similar trajectory of whether I like them or not with Take That. That at the start, way too pop. Yes. Way too massive, not interested, and then split up. Yeah. I remember in school when they split up and there was a helpline. Yeah,
like the Samaritans had to have a special helpline for Take That fans. Yeah,
there was a proper helpline when they split up.
I know, I just thought it was really, really bizarre because I obviously I loved them as
I thought you were going to say, obviously I rang it.
No, I'm suicidal.
And they helped me through a dark time.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't everyone loved Mark or Robbie, and I loved Gary Barlow. I was like, he's the one for me. Like, he's the talented one. I mean, still now I'm like,
yeah,
he's a little man.
He's
had
a journey as well, hasn't he? He's gone from fashionable, unfashionable, tax deductible, in out. He became a kind of like a easy joke for comedians for a while. He put on weight. Robbie went massive, he didn't. Yeah. And then he played the long game. He come see talent and songwriting ability wins through.
And now he's working for Marks and Spencer's or something.
Yeah.
Where's that Dermot O'Leary? Who am I thinking of? Same thing, isn't it?
For a period of time it was.
Generic men.
But I thought it's Generic Men.
Yeah.
So that's a good title for a boy band, isn't it?
Yeah.
Generic Men. We are generic men. And there's 5 of us, and we will be pretty generic. That is a good.
But even though, like, I was a big fan of Take That, and like growing up, my mum, I never had that sort of fandom of a band that I was like, when you see those videos of in the 60s of people watching the Beatles and these girls are like fainting and they're getting so excited, like I would be the person that's like, I really like this band, but I wouldn't cry over them. Like I would just be like, these are amazing and I love their music, but I wouldn't be calling the Samaritans.
This is why you would never have been interviewed as a teenage girl outside like the stadium. They would never have come to you and you were like, I can take them or leave them.
Yeah, they're all right.
I'm not going to go mad. I'm not going to get in the mosh pit and get crushed. I'll stay back. I'll enjoy the music. I'll get off.
And have a pint and stand in the back. 9 years old now.
But I've got to say as well, Take That. I reckon the song Patience, that song is as close to perfection as a pop song as you can get.
Oh, wow.
Poppy, like a pop song. Yeah. Isn't it? It's a brilliant song. I'm not a fan of Take That, but good song.
Their first music video.
Horrific. That's what put a lot of people off.
So graphic.
Yeah.
It's so graphic. And I remember having a VHS, like it was a VHS one side and like it was a double width VHS case. And you opened it up and it had a VHS one side and then a tape the other side in foam.
I remember
and I was like, it was the best thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I put the VHS in and that was the first thing that came up and I was about 8 or 9. I was just watching these very homoerotic men naked, lying on the floor, being covered in jelly and ice cream and being mopped up and down. And it was quite the awakening. I was like, wow, this is, I like this.
Well, for a young girl, it probably looked like a birthday party got out of hand.
Yeah.
I remember that video as well. That
my 10th birthday was wild.
Yeah. But I remember Take That being like massive and then going out and then you felt a bit bad for Gary Barlow. Yeah. Then he came back and you thought, you've pulled this round, Gary. Yeah. And then and then they had a bit where Robbie came back.
Yes.
And then
for like a short time.
Did they have a tour where he opened?
Yeah.
So he was a support
he did all
act.
his own songs for a bit and then they did Take That song.
So you can look at that in 2 ways. You can look at that. You can look at that with that's good of him not to have too big an ego that he can be the support band for Take That. Yeah. Or, as all comedians would, double bubble, innit?
Yeah.
Double bubble, doubling up in the same night.
Doubling up in the same night. And he's in the same venue. Brilliant. I'll just do 2.
Lovely.
So funny.
Lovely. Yeah. How many times do you reckon he made that joke during when Take That on and going, give another round of applause to the support band? He was good. Good looking as well.
Charismatic.
I know I would have. So that's what you first remember sort of buying yourself with your own money was Spice Girls. Did you stay with them all the way through?
Yeah, so it would Take That was the first album that I remember buying. Right. And then, I remember buying when I was 11, Spice Girls. And I found the CD not that long ago. And I've written in Sharpie on the front my name. like so no one takes it if I take it into school. It's so sad. But I was like, that's so sweet. It was
a school thing. That's not...
Because you take your CD in.
Yeah.
I've got my CD with
there can be no arguments. I think you'll find my name's on that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's in gold pen. So,
Yeah, you can't argue that. Did you do that with your exercise books? Where did you cover them?
You had to cover them in like wallpaper and stuff.
Do you know, I don't like admitting this, but I remember German I didn't know the swastika. I thought that was like the German badge.
Oh no! Like that's their like.
I honestly did.
Oh God!
I was first year, so that's 11, which is forgivable just about. But at 11, you should have known better.
Where were you finding swastika wallpaper? You can't just go into WH Smith's and go, oh yeah, that one.
No, it was plain brown paper that I drew swastika. I don't think Homebase did arrange a feature wall swastika wallpaper for your very right wing person who was heavily into DIY.
Yeah, well they might have the curtains, but not the wallpaper.
That is brilliant. The swastika wallpaper. But no, I drew it on. And here's the thing: I remember my German teacher was very nice, Mrs. Harris, took me to one side and explained what that represented, why that was wrong. Yeah. And I thought, what a grown-up, brilliant teacher she was. Yeah. Now, as an adult, I think, she went in the staff room and went, oh my God, look what this prick did. Look at this. Andrew Bird, year 7.
Did you used to write like love hearts of who you fancied on your
No, you didn't do that so much as boys. Sometimes you wrote, if it was serious and you've been together for like more than say 2 weeks.
Sure, yeah.
You might write Andrew for Gemma.
Yes, with the number 4.
Yeah, with the number 4. Of course, that was a big statement. That was as good as marriage, wasn't it?
Yes.
But I do remember that girls that I fancied when I was a teenager. Spice Girls songs were kind of the backdrop. Yeah. For that,
absolutely.
It was you remember she likes that. That's our song.
Yeah, but, I just love that. I love watching their music videos and like watching Wannabe on Top of the Pops for the first time and going into school on the Monday and go, did you watch that? Yeah. It was just the most exciting thing ever.
See, as a boy, I remember thinking that can't be number 1. Tell me what I want, what I really, really want. I remember my mate's plan. All he said about that song was, if you want to be my lover, you got to get with me friends. Yeah. Fair play, that's right.
I'll have a go on each of them.
I know that joke's been done a few times, but he was first on it. Yeah. He was first on it, to be fair to him. If you trace that joke back to its origin, Daniel Richardson, Toaster. But I'm impressed that you stuck with the Spice Girls pretty much all the way through when they reformed.
Yeah, I never. Did
you get any? Did you go see them?
No, I've never got tickets. To
you said you never went. Oh, no, Take That. You never saw Take That or Spice Girls.
No,
so you've never seen either of your favourite bands.
I know. I saw Mel C. Live, but no, they're not my favourite bands now. But when I was a kid, they were my that was my number.
So what sort of time did you sort of grow out of them? Sounds harsh, but what time did you start moving away from them? What was it?
I remember going. So that was when I was a lot younger, and then it was all sort of pop stuff. And I'm tell you what, I was a fan of Robson and Jerome. Yes, I loved. Do you remember Robson?
I remember the song.
Your face is a picture. You're so upset by what I'm saying. It's so funny.
Sorry. You could say I'm a fan of the Robson and Jerome song.
No, I had the album because my mum used to listen to Radio 2 in the car. Yeah. So I used to listen to all sort of old style music, and I loved Robson and Jerome, and sort of growing up, that's what I listened to. My mum loved like Elvis and Motown, and so I didn't really listen to modern pop songs often.
Well, I think a lot of people had that in their childhood because people think. How old were you? What bands were around when you were a kid? Yeah. I think you listened to them, but you didn't because you listened to what your parents were listening to. And then when you get older, you went, I should have listened to them really at the time. They were good. People go, that was my era of music. I wasn't listening to it, but that was my era. I was very much listening to Robson and Jerome because that's what Mum had on in the car.
I probably wrote my name on the front of that as well. Yeah. So I had Robson and Jerome, and then
so you were into them and admin, pretty much.
Yeah, and admin.
You were into them, and you had a good sense of ownership.
Yeah, they're mine. Robson and Jerome.
But hang on, did you listen to the whole album?
Yeah, loved it.
Was it a good album?
Yeah.
So I'm having a go. I've never heard it, so I can't judge.
It was all sort of like Unchained Melody, and they had sitting in. I was going to start singing, then I won't. Sitting in the back row of the movies and like all that sort of. It was the same. They're just covers. They weren't their original songs.
Oh, Robson and Jerome kept a massive song off of number one. I can't remember.
Unchained Melody. I can't say that. Unchained Melody. And also Gareth Gates. Who knew?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Love him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they were at number one. Oh, was it? Yeah, it was.
I remember they kept a massive song.
Soldier.
Did you watch that?
No, I was too young.
Oh.
I don't think so, no.
Was that some classic Sunday night telly?
Yeah, I think so. I never watched it. But I loved that album. Right. I loved it so much. I listened to it until it wore out.
Did you listen to Elvis and Motown?
Yeah.
Did you get into Elvis then?
Yeah, I loved it.
See, I'll admit this, and this, hosting a music podcast, this is sacrilege, but I've always like I think those bands and musicians that are incredible, you're not doubting it. Elvis, one of them, obviously, where you're like, it's Elvis, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you don't really own an album because it's on all the time. It's one of them. So I've never got massively into Elvis. You get a greatest hits, maybe.
Yeah. You don't get the individual albums.
Yeah, so I've been like that with Elvis. And then I watched the Netflix documentary and I went, I've not given him the respect he deserves.
Really?
Which you think you would.
Yeah.
But I just thought, because I think he suffers from, everyone thinks of him as that bodysuit, big glasses era.
Yeah.
And that's it. And you forget.
Wasn't.
And I watched the documentary and I thought he died at home when he was like a sort of overweight drug addict, just sat around the house. He was touring at the time. I didn't realise that.
Yeah. And he wasn't that old either.
No. So
I went to Graceland. I went to his house and
God, hang on, this is a big gear change, isn't it? You've gone from writing your name on Robson and Jerome to I went to Graceland.
Yeah. So I went. I did a massive road trip around America, and then I went to Graceland, and he was always like. My mum listened to that, and then going to his house and seeing actually what he was like as a person, it just made. I had a huge amount of respect for him. He was an amazing person. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they make Graceland as well. That's as well been built into this kind of almost theme park caricature house. But he bought it for his mum and dad, which is like a nice, charming, lovely thing that has now been bloated into this big tourist attraction.
And they had all his cars and like he had an aeroplane and so you go
Hang on, did he have a plane there in Graceland?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah. And he's got loads of different cars and like a pink Cadillac and it's so cool to go around and it's like a museum now, so you've got your audio tape and you're walking around and
because most people who have, I don't know how it works usually, but most people who have a private plane, it's like at an airfield. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How cool would that be to actually have it there,
and it's ginormous. It's like a normal size plane.
You know what I mean? I'm going to the shop. Going to take the Ford. You have to move the jet. The jet's parked in front of it. Why'd you park it there? I didn't even think of that. But it's massive. It's not like a little private jet. It's like big.
It's definitely easy jet size, easily.
Wow.
Imagine. And inside, so they say a story that his daughter had never, because she grew up in Memphis, she'd never seen snow. And so they flew her to Canada to see snow for the day and then flew her back.
Right.
It was a different time.
I thought my kids were spoiled little shits.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, imagine that as a kid, just mentioning stuff. All right, get in the plane.
Come on.
Dad, did I mention I've never seen a kangaroo?
Yeah. It's popped to Australia for the day.
But they went to Canada for the day. Yeah, but don't you have to... even if you've got a private plane, that's still got to be organised, I suppose.
A lot of admin.
Because he was into, like... I've heard this on the Frank Skinner show, that he had a radio where he could hear, like, the police talking about police crashes. He had the channel, and he would turn up. And there's loads of photos of Elvis just stood at the scene of a crash, just sort of having a look.
Why? It's just like morbid sort of interest.
Just interesting. But shows the level you're at, but that's a whole different level. Yeah. It's a sort of radio straight through the Air Force Tower. Says Elvis, the little girl wants to go to Canada, so clear a route.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, that's a lot of money, isn't it? You've got to have a lot of money to do that.
Yeah, I won't...
Sorry, I took you off piece.
No, I won't even pop into Oxford when my kids want something.
Down the road.
We ain't going. It's rush hour. So you were in Elvis and Robson and Jerome.
Yeah,
This is
I listened to like old stuff growing up, and I remember being at school and being really embarrassed because everyone would listen to like Southern FM. I grew up in Brighton, so they'd listen to like the local radio or Radio 1, and then I'd listen to Radio 2 and not know any of these songs. And like I remember in the playground, like girls singing TLC and stuff, and I didn't know what it was because I didn't know. I know, but now I do, so it's fine.
They were good though, weren't they?
Yeah, they were so good. So then when I got older, I got into sort of R&B, like the 90s R&B, which I loved. Yeah.
What I was too tunnel vision Oasis. What happened with R&B in the 90s?
Oasis again.
Talk me through R&B in the 90s.
I can imagine if we cut your head open, it just says Oasis.
Yeah, like a stick of rock all the way through. No, but it swivels around. It's Beatles on the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk me through R&B in the 90s.
Yeah, so I used to, we had like Ja Rule and Ashanti, and I sort of listened to all of that. I had, I had like sort of greatest hits kind of, or now 89 or whatever it was at the time, and then it had sort of pop and then like R&B stuff. So I used to listen to that, and then I remember what was really popular was sort of garage, Craig David and things was when I was getting older.
Was that late 90s?
Yeah, sort of stuff like that. But then when I was 16, it was a pivotal moment in my music listening career or like interest. My best friend Anna gave me A Fever to Tell from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. And I listened to that and I was just like, I love this. This is what I want to listen to. And then that sort of opened the doors to indie sleaze and just listening to every band that I could possibly imagine. Like the Kings of Leon first album was just amazing. Like I loved it, and I listened to it over and over and over again.
Isn't that good that you remember? You remember the moment.
The moment,
Anna.
Anna. We were on holiday together, and she gave me the CD because I remember it by sort of the clubs that we used to go to in Brighton. So on a say Thursday was like the R&B night. And Anna used to go on a Tuesday to the indie night.
Typical Anna.
Typical Anna. I know, what's she like? And so, and she was like, well, why don't you come with me one day and we'll go here? And I just remember listening to all the songs and going, I can dance to this. I don't look weird, like some white girl trying to like look sexy. I can dance to this.
Indie on the Tuesday?
Yeah.
You found you could dance to indie
more? I
more?
loved it, yeah. But it's stamping in your kitten heels. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, you can sway along to... I find myself swaying along to indie stuff in the kitchen and every night, because no one's there, and thinking, I could dance a bit if I put my mind to it. Yeah. And I'm not gonna.
It's so much fun. Loved it,
I've got to say, as a boy, there's nothing more attractive than a girl dancing to indie music. Because you know what I mean? Dance and... it's just an open goal, isn't it? Indie takes a bit more effort.
Yeah.
Takes a bit more sexuality, doesn't it, to get along to it? You know what I mean? But Kings of Leon...
Yes,
that was... right.
So their first album, I remember, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, so that... and
that was when they were longer hair, wasn't it?
Yeah, when they were cool.
They looked more brutish.
Yes. And, so I loved that album, and then I loved... like Franz Ferdinand and The Strokes and Block Party and
there was like people go on about I say people I go on about like everyone goes on about that Britpop, but I reckon the early 2000s indie music then between 2000 and sort of 2005-6 there was shitloads. There was all of them good. Arctic Monkeys, Kasabian. Well, there was an album out. Like I remember on my birthday buying, I bought Killers and Jet.
Yes,
new albums.
Yeah.
I was like, what a day! Oh, it was the second one. The one with when we were young.
Yeah,
that one, their second album. Which what an album that is! But the early 2000s.
Yeah,
indie,
so good.
I wasn't that into Franz Ferdinand, but now, looking back, I'm like, I missed out there because they're great.
Yeah, because we went to see the Killers' first ever gig pretty much in the UK.
Did you?
Yeah.
How did you hear about that?
So, funny story.
This is what we're here for.
My friend dated the guitarist.
It's not where I saw this going.
No.
I thought it was going to be, I saw an ad in the corner shop and we thought, Killers, that's a good name for a band. Not my friend dated the guitarist.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So this is, I mean, I must have been 17 or 18.
Yeah.
So yeah, very young. And I remember sitting on the beach with them all before they went into the Ark, which is now probably called something else.
Hang on, you sat on the beach with the band?
Yeah, before they went on. And their album...
How's it taken you 40 odd minutes to mention this? I would have opened on this. You opened on, I'm a bit embarrassed. I like the Spice Girls. I could have gone anywhere. I've sat on the beach with the Killers. What you got?
So... the way this is going to get better. So sorry.
Oh, you really softened me up with your Robson and Jerome bullshit in the car. I sat on the beach with the Killers. Go on.
So the way Sarah met the guitarist, Dave, I think his name was they were supporting her uncle's band, and her uncle's Robert Smith from The Cure.
Oh, Jesus. Come on.
So that's how they met.
Yeah.
And then they were supporting them. And so we met all the Killers, and their album, Hot Fuss, had just come out and was still sort of doing the rounds. And everyone was like, oh, who's this band? Yeah, sure, Killers. That's a cool name. Like, didn't really think anything of it. And then it was the time when, when like those little pin badges were really fashionable. And everyone had them.
I'll talk you through the man fashion.
Go for it.
It was pin badge on a pinstripe grey blazer.
Yeah.
With a coloured T-shirt underneath with like a logo of some American football team you don't know. With boot cut jeans.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's what we're talking, aren't we?
I was in the era of the boys wearing like spray-on jeans and really pointy boots, like really tight. Like they looked like they were in the Horrors, the band The Horrors and the
Could have just been Brighton.
It could have been Brighton, fair. Yeah. But I remember
you live by your own rules down there.
So, what's his name? Brandon is the lead singer, isn't it? Yeah. So we were asking them questions, and then my friend Steve kept sort of badgering them with loads of different questions, and then we were saying, stop badgering him, and then I started singing, I've got a badge but I'm not a badger. And then Brandon Flowers sang it on stage. And he's like, God. And did like a whole action, and we were like, this is amazing.
Do you know what I thought? That's incredible. That's incredible. That is an amazing stuff. But my brain, for a second, forgot that's on the first album.
Yeah.
I thought that was the second album, and he nicked that from you. And that's what I thought.
Oh my God.
I thought, what, you're telling me you wrote that?
Yes.
That's what I thought for a second.
Soldier.
So you started singing at him, I've got a badge, but I'm not a badger.
Yeah, and we were all singing it, and we were like joking, and then we were like, go on, do it on stage. And he's like, yeah, right. It was good fun. And then we sort of hung out with them afterwards. And then now I'm like, I remember going to like Reading or Leeds or something, and then seeing them headline, and I was like, oh, I used to know them years ago.
Yeah, I like then we hung out with them after.
Yeah.
Not many people we hung out with the Killers.
Well, they were really
How big
new.
was the gig?
It was tiny.
200?
It wasn't that many people. It was just in like a nightclub in Brighton. And then they went, obviously, stratospheric.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I was like 17.
You were 17?
Yeah.
How old were they?
Not 17.
Dirty mucky buggers.
Oh, no.
Not Brandon.
I mean, they probably went out for about 5 minutes. But yeah, Sarah's like very happily married now, and whereas we're grown-ups. But I remember, it was a different time.
I'm interested in Sarah now. I mean, I'm really enjoying interviewing you. But Sarah seems like she's got a story to tell. She, what's her husband do?
Oh, well, he used to be in a band, like, so yeah.
Oh, she's got a type.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yeah.
But he used to be in a band.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's worse. If you said to me he's in IT, it would have been hurtful that she said, yeah, I was with the guitarist from the Killers. The fact he was in a band.
Like a fling like years ago. It was like a couple of months. I mean, we were like 18. I would have thought, yeah.
So you were for a night.
I remember just being able, like, showing, you know, when you go to a club and you show your ID for the first time, you're like, I'm allowed. So yeah, I remember that.
Little did you know, little did they know you were. So you were for this. I mean, the term groupie sounds derogatory.
No, we weren't groupie.
That sounds derogatory, but you were with. All right, let's put this sounds cooler. You were with the band.
Yeah.
For a while, you could legitimately say.
Yeah.
For a brief period, you could be just near the Killers.
Like an afternoon, yeah.
And gone with a band.
Yeah.
With the band.
With the band.
Did you go in? Did you see the sound check or anything like that?
No. We were just drinking on the beach.
What, before the gig?
Yeah.
God, I was going to say they wanted to be a bit more professional, but they clearly knew what they were doing. What was Brandon like? Because he's very religious.
Yeah, I mean, I literally spoke to him. I remember.
No, I doubt he brought that up on the beach.
Yeah,
but,
no, it just spoke to him very briefly.
Yeah, I'm not like suggesting he made you all pray.
Yeah, they seem like nice guys.
Yeah.
This was before he wore like his, bright pink blazers and stuff. This is
it's funny when like a band changes a lot and they say we lost a few fans there, and I always think those fans are knobheads that fell away by the wayside. I'm kind of that with the Killers, that I loved them, the first two albums.
Yeah, me too.
I think the third, and then they just went a bit sort of disco for me.
Yeah, I think I was the same with Kings of Leon. Like I wouldn't choose to listen to their other albums, but their first album and their second, Aha, Shake, Heartbreak, I would listen to that on repeat.
Yeah.
But then, Sex on Fire sends shivers down my spine now.
Yeah.
Because it's all a bit like, those sort of football lads.
Yeah.
Like that song and like Chelsea Dagger and.
What's funny is that those songs from when you were younger, that for me now I've got two boys, 8 and 10, and singing them. What's funny as well is songs that come on. And it's no big thing for us to know the words for a Killers song. No. But to them, they're like, do you know every song? I'm like, pretty much.
Well, I've got this thing where when I'm in the car with my other half, I don't necessarily know words to songs, but I have the confidence that I do. And he finds it so irritating.
Oh, really? You're the kind of person I want to be around.
Yes.
Someone who doesn't know the words but has the confidence to give it a go.
Yeah, just giving it a go.
Brilliant.
And he's like, gee, you don't know this song that well, do you? And I'm like, never.
I think that's arguably better than someone singing along who knows the words.
Exactly, it's more fun.
That's arrogant. That's pretty much saying, forget Paul McCartney, I'll take it from here.
Yeah.
But you're like, I don't know the words, but I'm giving this a bloody go.
Give it a go.
My wife is Slovakian, right? Foreign. So if she gets words wrong for stuff,
right.
Fair enough. She did this recently. I've told this on stage. This is hot off the press. Happened last week, I think. I walked through the front door from a gig late at night. She just happened to be walking down the stairs. She's ready for bed. Yeah. So she's just in a standard dressing gown, but just her underwear. But just jokingly, she walked down the stairs to try to be seductive, talking of getting words wrong. She got everything about it wrong. What she meant to do was walk down the stairs and go da 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 da. Yeah,
right, yeah.
She went da da.
Oh, no.
She did.
Like Jaws.
The Jaws theme. I was like, fuck's like a great white shark coming at me. But do you know what that suggested?
That could be sexy though. It depends what you're into.
Yeah. If you've got a fetish like that.
Yeah.
But do you know?
You're into sharks.
But that made me think that when she gets stuff wrong, I'm not sure it's a language thing. I think she's just getting shit wrong. You know what I mean? That was just shit. That was nothing to do with language. But I like the fact that you're getting stuff wrong and you just commit.
Go for it. When in Rome, you're in Rome.
I had you bloody are. I had recently had an extension done. I had a plasterer.
All right, show
and they were well.
Doing well
you say
yourself.
That. Got a second mortgage just literally weeks before the pandemic. I remember clearly on the phone the lady from Nationwide saying, "Do you see any reason why your income might change?"
You're like,
and I said, "Nope." A week later, it went. So we had to do it. I rang her and asked if we could give it all back.
Yeah.
And she said, "I've never been asked that before." But so we had to do the extensions. We got a plasterer. So the plasterers come in towards the end of the build. You know that if you've seen DIY SOS, the big build.
Yes, love
they're
that.
at the end when things are coming together.
Yeah.
They're the glory. They told me it was Kingy who I went to school with, Richard King.
Yeah.
And they said, now, just to warn you, he sings. He's a singer. Not only does he sing, he commands the radio. They've got Radio 2 on all day saying, good point, Jeremy Vine. Yeah. Same thing. Good point, Jeremy Vine. I'm like, this is depressing. The Builders had him on all the time. Kingy shows up. He's like, no, absolute, mate. Absolute all the way. So thank God for Kingy. Do you know the saying, dance like no one's watching? He sung like no one's listening.
Oh, my God.
All day. Didn't give a shit. Got words wrong. Just committed. I've got just respect for that. So, but so Brighton, though, like you were lucky you grew up in Brighton. That's a good place to grow up. Because I grew up, like I've said a few times, Northampton, where there was no live music.
No.
There is in Northampton town centre. I grew up in a little town outside. Yeah. So Brighton, you just casually said it like she said, come along to Tuesday indie night.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know now how lucky you were to have that?
Yeah, I mean, we were like inundated. We had so many clubs, and no matter what kind of music taste you had, there was a club night for it. See, and we were so lucky. Like, if you want sticky carpets, go that way. If you want, if you want a bit of R&B, go there. If you want to grind up against someone, go there. So there used to be a really cool little club called the Engine Rooms, which is now like derelict. They probably set fire to it.
Was that a club or was that a live venue?
It was both. So it had like bands play, and like it used to be. It was in a basement, and the ceilings used to drip because it was so sweaty, and it was amazing. And they used to do a club night there, which I loved, called Born Bad. And it was all like rock and roll, rockabilly, in like sleaze, kind of.
Nice.
Yeah, like 60s girl groups, like loved it. Yeah, and everyone used to get dressed up.
What night of the week was that?
That Born Bad used to be on a Saturday.
Oh,
yeah.
Lovely. So what age were you going there then?
So I was going there probably like mid-20s, like 24, 25.
Right.
Yeah. And sadly, it doesn't exist anymore, which is really sad.
So now you've got to go and grind up against someone.
I know. I've got to find anyone.
So that early 2000s. Do you know two bands that I think are massively underrated from that 2000s indie bit of Franz Ferdinand, Killers, Kasabian? What do you reckon? Thrills.
Oh,
Did you get the Thrills?
Thrills?
That first album was brilliant. That was like...
That's just like feel good, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're just like...
Was what... And then I don't know what happened. They just... The second album was good as well. Yeah. But then there was a big drop-off for the third. And then the other one, I think, were massive for a while. And then their second album was really good as well, but then dropped right off. Athlete. Do you remember Athlete?
No, I don't remember that.
Don't you remember? See, this is what I'm talking about.
You have to sing the song. Go.
Hang on. We've got our vehicles and animals. Do you remember that one?
Wow,
that was the accent and everything. Hang on. Second album. She's got wires coming in.
Oh, yeah,
do you remember
I
that
know
one?
them. Yeah.
They were brilliant.
Yeah.
I think they're underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, there's so many bands at that time. Like everything with the at the front, I loved. Yeah. And also Jet.
Yeah.
Loved Jet.
First album, then the second album, I think that was, I went to see them live during that second album tour, the one I got for my birthday. I thought they were live. They were incredible. They were incredible. But apparently... They supported Oasis around America.
Can't resist mentioning it. You can't resist it.
I mean, what a gig that would have been, though. Jet. It was Jet, Kasabian, then Oasis. Oh, you'd have been exhausted by the end of that. Jet and Kasabian on one night.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet Jesus. But yeah, so then, so in recent years, what have you? Is there any new music you've got into in recent years, or have you stuck and not moved past people?
Well, the first band, like live gig I went to see after lockdown was Idols, and that was amazing, and it totally blew me away. And I hadn't really listened to them that much before I went, so everyone was around me singing. Right. It was my partner's birthday, so it was a little treat for him. And then we went, it was in January, and we went to Brixton Academy, which is the best venue. It's amazing.
There's no bad place to stand.
No.
It's gradually slopes.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
The problem with it, Brixton, I think it's a great venue. Problem with it, opposite massive Weatherspoons. So you get a late rush of absolute twats that haven't watched the support band and are pissed out their heads and have no sense of personal space. That's you've got to position yourself. Yeah, there is that, but you've got to position yourself, haven't you? But it is one of the best. But can you be honest and admit, did you get slightly emotional first gig after lockdown?
I did, yeah. I mean, I was giddy with excitement.
Yeah.
I just had so much fun. And it was weird kind of being surrounded by everyone who were like singing along. But as you know, that's not a problem for me because I just sing anything.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So I was just like having...
You don't have to do the background work.
No.
Just go with your instincts.
Loved
Commit.
it.
That's what you do. I like that. So do you sometimes do that though? Because you just alluded to that. I very much do that. If I'm seeing a band, right, start prepping.
Yes.
Start going back through back catalogue.
Yeah, my Spotify playlist was pretty much just Idols for about a week beforehand, just to.
Did they have a new album just out?
Well, I remember listening to the what's it called? The Ballroom. What's it called? That one, their new song. Okay. And that came on the radio, and I was like, oh my God. And my boyfriend and I like to send each other music, and I sent him that. I heard it on the radio, and I was like, this is amazing. Were
you secretly, because I know your partner's really into music, so you secretly quite chuffed that you were on top of it?
Yeah, I smashed that.
It's a points win,
He was like, oh my God,
when my
you're
wife
amazing.
when my wife tells me about a song before I know it, the look of smugness on her face. It's like, haven't you
heard of them?
Haven't you heard it yet? She's still now, whenever we listen to Wilco, she's still like, I got you into Wilco.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've just started listening to Django. I really love them.
Right.
But I mean, what's on repeat usually is kind of, I love, not Motown, but like Northern Soul. I listen to a lot of Northern Soul and Queens of the Stone Age.
Right.
It's,
it's two shifts, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit
Northern Soul
turn.
is one for my wife's, that kind of Saturday, Sunday morning.
Yes.
On in the kitchen while you're doing stuff. That's the way to go. She goes Northern Soul or Motown in the kitchen.
But it's great for a dance.
Even if I had designs on putting on a specific album, I think I can't. That's a big move to turn that off.
Yeah.
You know, she's trying to put herself in a good mood here, which could be pivotal for the rest of the day. So really if I swoop in here and decide I'm putting on
Oasis,
hey, I was going to go Beatles on that.
Okay, sorry.
Don't be so quick to judge. Don't pigeonhole me. That's a big call though, isn't it? But that's very much one. Yeah. Just fail safe Saturday, Sunday morning, isn't it?
Yeah,
Northern
and it always
Soul.
puts you in a good mood, and it's just I love 60s girl groups as well. So like the Velvets, Velvet,
Yeah.
So the thing is, I know the songs that I like Needle in a Haystack is one of my favourite songs ever. Yeah. And I just love it. Yeah, it's brilliant. And then I also listen to like more rocky stuff. So I was mates with a Brighton band.
Oh, fuck. All right. God, I thought this. Knowing you
like
now,
I'm just showing off, isn't it?
No, but you now, I wouldn't be surprised. Right at the end of this podcast, I mean, we're just about to wrap up. If you went, so I'm friends with Paul McCartney.
Yeah, and Liam Gallagher. Weirdly, I had him round for dinner.
That was that. Even you saying that as a joke was cutting.
Yeah, I know. I could feel your pain.
Really
I'm
personal.
Sorry. But the best gig that I've ever been to.
Oh, this is a good way to close.
Yeah.
Best gig you've ever been to
was 80s Matchbox Beeline Disaster supporting Queens of the Stone Age at the Brighton Dome.
Hang on,
it was so good. Yeah.
Them supporting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I knew I'm really good mates with Guy and Sim and I was back in the day. They're just lovely guys, and like Sim,
Guy and Sim.
I still speak to him. Like he was the bass player, and like I speak to Sim now, and he's lovely.
Was it a little bit of pride seeing them supporting, or was it just an amazing gig?
It was amazing. It was just because obviously I'd seen 80s Matchbox play a lot smaller venues, and I'd seen them play at a festival, and so I'd seen them play on a massive stage as well, but seeing them support like one of my favourite bands was amazing.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Kate, it has been bloody lovely to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Sorry for showing up.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anyone you've missed that you know, then feel free to text me. I'll mention it on the next podcast.
Yeah.
By the way,
so much fun.
Kate was massive friends with Prince back in the day.
Yeah. And Shirley Bassey, weirdly.
Yeah. She taught at my school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bloody brilliant. That was really nice.
Yeah.
That was really good fun. Bloody brilliant.
A podcast from producerpaul.co.uk.